since we have heard a bit about India's story. Sitting in New York next to the Wall Street, how's the India stock doing? Brand India.
I think Brand India is doing well. It's doing better. And if I reflect on the last few days, I think there's more political respect. It's not easy in democratic politics to get 3 successive terms. I think most people in the political business certainly recognize and respect that. I think there's also more economic respect. You know, the fact that we are today back into the 8% in terms of growth rate, come out of the COVID, and people can see that, you know, there are decades of growth ahead of us. More technology respect. So it could be the moon landing, the digital infrastructure, the vaccines, the innovation, startups, the semiconductor, you know, that whole thing. And I would say particularly in the UN, a kind of a sentiment respect, that a sense that we are a country with a heart, that we have that feeling for other countries and other people, which I think is most vividly expressed in the fact that we have brought Global South back into conversations in the UN.
Dr. Jaishankar, you have clearly, along with the Prime Minister, been scripting the tiger's tail. In the next 3.5-4 years, as we look ahead, what are the ambitions around multilateralism? Since we have made a bold pact for the future that claims to transform global governance, what are those transformations going to look like? You have the pen. Now tell us those transformations that we should try and achieve.
Look, I think there'll be a lot, but if I were to pick 2 or 3 big changes, not just for India, but for the world, because the Pact of the Future is for the world. You know, a lot of the Pact was centered around the SDGs, and the SDGs is really giving the ability to people to realize the potential. So what we are looking really is genuinely global development, which will allow the diversity, the natural diversity of the world to express itself. But when we speak about that, I think a big part of it is democratizing economics. Typically in the UN, we speak about making politics more democratic. But, you know, if you don't have, if you don't have production across the world in different geographies, you're not going to get really an equitable world. It's one big takeaway from the COVID era as well. You know, the over concentration, the reliance on limited geographies for the needs of the world. So for me, how to democratize economics is one. How to democratize technology is another. And that's where I think digital public infrastructure is a very big piece. Perhaps how to democratize the global workplace. You know, there is a mismatch there's a demographic mismatch today where there's demand, there isn't enough supply. So how do we do that in an orderly, acceptable way? I think these would be some of the big issues which both underlie the Pact of the Future and would be reflected as the Pact of the Future unfolds.